Hello. Yes, I have returned from my primordial ooze to produce an ocular-based dissertation of the highest order. I've just been working on the next video for so long that I figured I should probably drop a filler-ish video, so you guys don't think I'm actually dead or whatever. Anyway, today, I will be sharing with you 9 artists whose work I very much enjoy and I think you might enjoy as well as an average art enjoyer as opposed to the average artwork fan. Yeah, so let's just start. Anyway, first up, we got Hana Yata, or Yata. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing. Do I even need to say anything? Do I? Like, seriously? Just look at it. Look at it. Look at it.
Oh, look at it! Hi. Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! Look at it! I want all of you to look at it!
Yeah, okay, anyway, moving right along. Moving right along, as I've tried to make this in a sort of descending order from most known to least-ish, you know? Please observe the collection of JPEGs containing Shintaro Kago's artwork I've compiled. Shintaro's art seems to be very heavily focused on body horror and surrealism. Wonder why I like it. But there's also something to be said about his color palette. All of his work has a very vibrant, almost pastel color palette, making this absolute nightmare fuel exude this sort of strange, playful, inviting energy. I'm particularly fond of the girl with a ton of fingers piercing through her body. That's some freaky stuff, man. His artwork seems to have a much heavier focus on characters and environments, as many of these backgrounds are quite abstract. There's also a habit of using patterns. Usually they're incorporated in really unexpected ways. Your brain is designed to pick up on patterns, and it's clear that a lot of thought goes into where these patterns go and how they can be used to terrify or entice. In other words, this shit fucking slaps, bro. I want one on my wall. Alright, next. Maxime Taccardi is an artist I've actually spoken about on this channel before. His work has an extremely visceral and existential vibe to it, you know? He has a tendency to use a lot of scratchy lines when he's working with ink and paint, and of course a lot of splatters when he's working with his blood. Oh yeah, he does paintings with his own blood. Forgot to mention. I do find it strange, a bit unsettling, and I particularly do not encourage anyone else do that, but gotta say, the blood paintings look sick, dude. He paints a lot of heavy metal musicians and tributes to things he likes in blood, but when he's not doing any of that, he paints and draws a lot of things that seem like abstract human forms that have some kind of internal repressed suffering inside of them. Unfortunately, I can't help but resonate with those works. And that's why he's one of my favorite artists. Relm, or Relm Artist as she is known across the internet, works in a style I can only call erotic surrealism. I'm going to have to censor every single one of these images due to the sexual content, but your brain could probably fill in the rest. I think she works in color pencil, but I could be wrong, might be watercolor. Don't really work in those mediums, not super familiar, but you know, that's kind of what my eyes are perceiving here. But her work has a bit of like a whimsical element to it. Aside from the graphic sexual content, there are a lot of elements of fantasy in her work. I suppose in this case that would be a double entendre. Stuff like knights and fairies, luscious gardens, that kind of thing. It's really imaginative and really horny as well. Some people might not be able to get past the initial shock of erotic artwork, but once you do, you realize that some of the most talented artists out there are working in a genre that some may call porn, but I call it art.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
Massiveface is a dude that draws a lot of skull guys really good, and I like skull guys a lot. Anyway, moving on. Horde is... Oh, alright. If I were to analyze what exactly I like about Massiveface's art, it's certainly the dark imagery, but I really like how he uses minimalistic color. When he does use color, he usually uses only 1 or 2 and doesn't really go overboard with the rendering of shadow and light with color. The key ingredient is definitely the line work. His composition is certainly what makes him stand out with a style that some may say they've seen before. This Third Reich looking piece of the woman removing, or putting on, the cool samurai skull helmet creates an image that drags your eyes through a spiral. Your eyes go from the helmet to her left arm to the black part of the background. I'm almost positive this adheres to the golden ratio or Fibonacci sequence in some manner, and yeah, skull dudes are cool, man. Anyway, next, Horde. That's __Horde_. If you want to find her online. Horde draws pieces that have an emphasis on body horror. Are you surprised I love it? What I think makes Horde stand out is her use of color. Remember when I said massiveface is a minimalist? Well, Horde more or less goes in the other direction. However, a lot of her work has a bit of a monochromatic feel to it that really drives home the color psychology. This bluish green one really evokes a sense of sadness, not just with the character's facial expression, but with the way blue works on your mind. These are really beautiful pieces and you should support her work. All artists will have their social media and websites linked below, save for Relm and the artists I'm about to talk about. YouTube has a policy in blocking or at least age restricting videos that contain links in the description that may be considered NSFW, so I will put their Instagram handles and websites on screen now. So here's Relm's. Yep, and here's Hebe's. Hebe_92. Unsure what his real name is. He also goes by Hebe_illustrations in some places. He draws a lot of extremely spicy artwork. He draws with a lot of really clean cross-hatching that actually influenced me to change the way I draw women. So early on I always thought that using a lot of lines to draw women would emasculate them and would make them appear less feminine, and while I don't think there's anything wrong with masculine women, you know, some people like that, that's totally fine, I still tried to capture some of that feminine softness when I do draw women. Looking at Hebe's work, I realized that you can still draw women femininely with a lot of lines and even cross-hatch the shit out of them. His work is extremely cleanly done in the artistic sense. The actual content could be anything further from clean. I apologize for having to censor most of it, but you know, YouTube terms of service and all that. Lots of skulls, boobs, and evil stuff. 10 out of 10. Moving along. Sentient Cigarette. First of all, great name. Secondly, his line work is so clean that I'm not even sure he's human. I can tell a lot of it is digitally done, but still, it's so clean, man. He draws a lot of black and white skulls, but where he stands out is in how he incorporates them and the way he does illustrations of ordinary everyday things. He also has a tendency to add a little writing to each of these doodles, which help give them a bit of identity, you know? Sort of personalize them a bit. I particularly like the occasional drawings of retro game consoles he does. Makes me think maybe I don't have to draw boobs all day to gain eyeballs on my work. Who am I kidding? I'm totally fine with drawing boobs all day. Last, but certainly not least, is an artist that goes by Carrion Blossom, which is an actual flower, by the way, which made finding images for the segment quite irksome. Carrion Blossom is primarily a tattoo artist, but he does a lot of traditional stuff, and his work gives a weird blend of modern anime-style art and ancient Japanese art. I'm particularly fond of the way he draws hair with so many lines, yet still manages to bring together a cohesive image. The weird half-anime, half-old-school Japanese look is coupled with usually surrealistic imagery and really makes his style stand out. Also, I follow him on Instagram and he literally posts some of the best memes in his stories. You should follow him just for that. Anyway, y'all, this has been a little bit of a brief filler-ish video, I guess. Just a little showcase of some artists that I really enjoy that I think you should all check out. I hope you found some cool stuff today, you know, so looked at some cool art, and yeah, that's about it. I'll be back soon with a very long video. I'm talking like in the 2-hour range. But yeah, I just wanted to get this video out to just say like, hey, I'm still here, guys. Don't worry, I didn't die. Make sure you follow me on social media and all that. Make sure you follow all these other artists on social media and all that. My comic Celestos is coming along quite nicely. I just dropped Chapter 7 about a week or 2 ago, and Chapter 8's coming along just fine. So check that out. You know, check out my store. You know, check out all these other artist stores. And, you know, just be well. Take care of yourselves out there, alright? Smooches.